Hey guys, Arnold here again for the video regarding the headlights of the Taurus. That's what we'll be talking about today. Um, I try to kind of edit it properly because it was bits and pieces here and there, but that's definitely all about how I did it. It's about how I got it done and how you can get it done. So don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up or comment if you've done it already. Let's see it. But yeah, guys, the whole point is just to get it done and get it done affordable. So thank you again for the likes and the subscriptions for 2020. Looking forward for more like and more subscriptions as well. But yeah, guys, buckle up. Let's go. So this will be pretty much what you need. I mean, you definitely need your gloves. You even need a towel. There's these Torx, those screws that are in there, Torx screws. So you're gonna need this Torx screwdriver or Torx heads. It's a 415/75 kWf. I don't know how that translates into other brand, but this is a Craftsman. So I guarantee you, if you look up Craftsman and you put that in there for Torx, you should be able to find that out online. It's about powering tool. It's definitely really useful. There's this other type of prying tool that I found at AutoZone. I can't remember what it's called, but it really helped to remove those plastic nuts and covers and stuff like that. But it's definitely helpful in this project as well to separate one of the lights, and you definitely need some pliers. But yeah, that's pretty much what you. Okay, so I did 350. I preheated the oven for about 4 minutes, but I did 350 on bake. I did use my foil paper, and I wrapped the lower sheet. I put it on the second level, depending on what your what your oven looked like. It's not the lowest one. It's not the closest one. So I put it there for about a minute, and I put my headlight on there, and I let it sit in the oven for about between 10 and 13 minutes. You have to come and check and make sure. It depends on how yours heats up. But pretty much after that, I just used a prying tool right here, and I pry one corner, and I went up top here, lifted the clip, and then pry that side. As soon as he popped out, I just gradually worked my way around the lens, and I was able to take it all out. Now, there's two reasons why I decided to do it with this one first, because those headlights are expensive, but this one was actually cracked initially. I don't know if you can see the hole there, but it's something I was going to fix. So I was like, I'm in worst case scenario, I'm not losing anything. But there was a crack there initially, and there was a crack there as well from the initial accident on the vehicle. So as you can see, it was cracked, but it all comes out in one piece. This is not a big deal, but you want to make sure at least you don't ruin the hole, because that's going to be covered up. This, I'm going to heat it up again, or use a screwdriver or a drill to kind of make sure that hole is there, because you need that to mount it on the frame of the car. My oven is a little small, and that's probably why the heat kind of went all the way up there. But you have to be very careful, otherwise it's all going to melt. But yeah, also make sure to remove the ballast that sits on the bottom if your headlights are HIDs. Again, I did with mine, but my foil got super hot at one point and I had to turn it around. So same here, like there's a hole right there. I'm just gonna drill it. It's gonna be just fine. With a self-tapping screw, it's gonna go in there just fine. But there you have it. You also want to make sure you don't overheat it, because if you do, it's going to kind of mess around with your lens here, and you will have to kind of treat it after you put it back together. Now, this is what you're trying to achieve. Depending on what you're trying to use, or what you're trying to paint, or what you're trying to do, you got to make sure that you're very patient. For whatever reason, like I said, Ford is using Torx screws, which is kind of a little bit unconventional, I'll say, but on a lot of the Fords that I've worked on, that's what they have. When you get everything separated, you have your projector right there in the housing, you have your blinker deal right there, you have your glass, which is kind of like a hard plastic. It's not glass. But you have that. You have this trim, which is the main one that's tied up to the glass or to the cover, I'll say. But all those screws have to be taken out in order to separate this from the cover or the glass. But when you do that, you now have to go ahead and take those out. For the projector cover, you have 2 screws, well, 3 screws. You have one here, and one down here that you can definitely access when you have this turned over. And to separate this shields for the blinker trim, that's where you would need your that prying tool I showed you a minute ago. You would need this tool to kind of pry it out gradually from the main trim, and you're also gonna have to use your pliers. But it definitely takes time, because otherwise you end up breaking this and you won't be able to put them in. So what I did was, on one side I was using my pliers and I was squeezing these two together like that, and on the other side I was using this tool, which was between here and the other main trim, and I was applying that pressure to gradually poke them out. It's kind of how I got it out. Again, you have to be pretty careful, otherwise you're going to break it. But yeah, definitely take your time on that. Now when you have that done, you can go ahead and paint whatever you want to paint, spray whatever you want to spray. In this situation, we're going with the same red accent theme, that we have going on with the car. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Sorry there, I was kind of looking at myself. I actually happened to burn myself. I had to put some nail spraying on there, but yeah, it kind of dingles there. Kind of watch yourself. My tray was out when I got burned, but I still got burnt. But yeah, watch out on that. But there you have it. So here we have all the parts. They've just been painted. I'm gonna let them sit a little bit more. But pretty much that's the theme we'll be going on with, and some more. So just wanted to show you guys. It was a little headache painting, but the reason why I still painted this, even though it was the reflector, was just because I'm going to use a switchback light, meaning, for those who don't know, it goes from daytime running light white to blinker, so it's pretty bright. I didn't go too dark, but it doesn't really matter, but it's going to give me the look that I want to achieve anyway, so that's why that piece is painted. Here I was trying to go with a black line here, but like I showed you guys earlier, it's kind of hard to get that done, especially when you're painting on plastic that's like chrome plastic type of deal. So I just left it alone, but I think it's going to look good in the housing. I'm also going to add an LED strip there, like I've done in other headlights. I'll probably have to drill a hole or something, figure out a way to route that cord so it looks really good. But that's the next step here. But yeah. Here, as I was assembling the whole headlight, I kind of had a good idea. Basically, this is the reflector, and it was all orange. So when I put everything back, it kind of looked really odd, with the red and everything I got going on. So I decided to spray it out to cover it up and just leave a little spot, which basically is the spot where you have your LED light or your light, on the reflector show up. So the black part can kind of still blend in the car, and you still have the same curved shape, to the headlight. And I think it's gonna look really good. It doesn't jeopardize the safety, per se, because you still have the reflector there. It looks really good in my opinion, and it kind of enhances the look of the car now. So you let me know what you think, but I'm about to go ahead and try to assemble everything back up, and kind of see how it looks. I was trying to look for the references as far as where I bought it from and put it in the description, but this is one type. With or without a connector, it don't matter, because if they're all switched back, one is the ground, one is the power, and one is the blinker. So it don't really matter. one was definitely cheaper than the other. This one doesn't have the connector. Again, it doesn't really matter. But what I wanted you guys to see was, one is like kind of like double-sided on the tape side, but ultimately one is thicker. I don't know if you can see. One is definitely meant to be placed down like right now on the glass, while the other one is meant to be placed flat down. So I don't like the LED look. I mean the little dot look. Kind of like the tube look better. I think it looks more modern. This looks a little bit more aftermarket, so I'll probably go with this. Problem with that is, again, if you're laying down flat, as you can see, it's pretty thick versus that, you know, so you might not have enough room literally inside of your housing to get that to go in. So that's kind of the challenge. But just keep an eye on what type they're selling and kind of zoom in and out to see which would better apply to you. There you go. I don't know if you could catch it. It's really bright, but you can see it gives that tube look, which I really like. And it's the same with that, if it can focus. You're gonna see, I don't really like that look. You can see the individual LEDs, which for me are not, it's not ideal. So I'll probably go with the other one. So over here we finished assembling the headlight. I was just doing like a basic test fit. Now by baking the headlight, we kind of, you know, you're gonna have, because unless it's a brand new headlight, but a lot of time because of the heat, it's gonna kind of haze a little bit, which you can definitely still finish your project and then address that like it was a fading headlight. So it's not a big deal, but that's pretty much the test fit. That's kind of how it's gonna look. That came out perfect in my opinion. That came out perfect, and also us blacking the reflector, it definitely changed the look on the light. You know, you only got that little spot there, so it looks really good. In a minute I'm gonna try it out for you guys to see how it looks. But I also went ahead and I messed with the reflector, I mean the projector, and I added the little halo ring in there. I don't know if you can see, it's probably too bright, but it's just a regular halo ring that you can just add on the inside. It expands out. You can buy it online, but I added that in there. I removed the screws for the projector here so I can pass the cord and tighten it up in there so it kind of holds it in place. But it definitely also fits in the groove. The piece you can see right here is that little halo ring there, so I have it connected on my battery. But long story short, we will have the little demon eye. Now I was going to try and switch the lens because I have this edge lens which would look really good. Problem is the OEM one is much better as far as I'm concerned. You can see the little, you know, the little cut down there. It's done all on purpose for light projection and everything. So unless you buy a brand new edge glass that is really good, you know, that's something that you can think about changing or not, but definitely it wouldn't have been that hard. The glass is about the same size, so I would have just poked that one out and put this one. But yeah, the OEM one is much better. So that's pretty much it. It was a little headache getting our LED here to kind of stand straight, but I believe it shouldn't be that much of a headache. So I believe we will start with the yellow look. If I can get it to stay, there you have it. So that's kind of how it's gonna look when we blink. I love it. And the driving light is going to be something like that. Tell me what you think. I think it looks awesome with the halo in the back on the projector. I think it's gonna look beautiful. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do some more tests, make sure everything is good, and we'll go ahead and reassemble everything. When everything is turned off, that's kind of how it's gonna look. we do have the housing here that had the blinker, which I blacked out as well, and we're gonna put a switch back in there. We might even just go ahead and put just a blinker, because I think it kind of interferes as far as look. You have the little LED light there that looks beautiful, and then you still have this one come on, which kind of throws it off. I did that change on the Expedition, but here I'm definitely I might take out the daytime running light on this bulb right here. So I just had to do a little test. I'm not done with that vent yet. The second headlight is not in yet. The bumper is not fully attached, but the wiring is already done. It's kind of how it's gonna look. It looks really, really good, guys. Let me know what you think. That's my Merry Christmas to everybody. Got that. Got the blinker. That's with the blinker. Really clean. All right, so a couple of things. I could not find the video that I took from when I was resealing the headlight, but pretty much what I used was high temperature clear silicone. You can use black silicone as well. I'll put the description in the link in the description below. But you can use that. You can also use high temperature, high adhesive glue, because that's gonna work for that application. But pretty much I went ahead and I had to preheat the housing a little bit more, the plastic, the black plastic side that holds the projector a little bit, for about 2 or 3 minutes at the same temperature, 350, to kind of soften everything up. And then I was able to apply a little bit of my glue around it on the edge, and then I placed the cover back on there after routing the wire properly. And I went ahead and I applied some pressure and put some silicone on there so you can seal it back up. Now, what you got to keep in mind is when you do that, you have to give yourself about a week or so, meaning you probably have to go back and reapply some of that silicone and stuff like that, just to make sure everything is sealed. As you remember, the headlight we used was it was broken, so I ended up using what you would use to seal a leak on your roof, the little adhesive. I forget the name of it. I'll look it up, but it's kind of like a aluminum looking type of adhesive. That's what I used on the inside and on the outside of the light, to go ahead and get that deal sealed up properly, and then I apply some silicone on that as well, so it worked really good. One last thing, also make sure when you're putting your bulbs back, make sure you stick them there and you turn them properly. Make sure everything is sealed. You don't want moisture in the headlights. That's the only way you're going to avoid moisture and condensation and foggy lights and stuff like that. If you don't do those things, you would definitely regret going down this path. But if you do them, you would not have a problem. Again, the video is a little bit older. As you can see in the video, I was talking about Christmas, but I got the time to go back and look and kind of, check, double check, make sure there's no moisture getting in there. So yeah, that's what we had. All right, guys, there you have it. That was the video for the headlights. I hope it helped somebody out there. I hope you guys start getting more colors in those headlight housings, because I haven't seen much done. But yeah, guys, definitely it was a little bit challenging. I might have missed a couple of steps or a couple of things there, but it's a learning process. So let me know in the comment what you think. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like. Like I've always said, we're all about growth and we're all about doing it right. Don't forget to let that platform stand out.